Anyway, he's successful in all of those things. And Sammy's going to be performing next week, May 7th through the 12th, at the Westbury Music Festival in Westbury, Connecticut. Would you welcome our good friend, Sammy Davis, Jr.
Don't go trying to change me. Don't change the color of my hair. Don't imagine you're too familiar and I don't see you anymore. I would not leave you in times of trouble. We never could have come this far. I took the good times, I'll take the bad times, I'll take you just the way you are. Don't go trying some new fashion. Don't change the color of your hair. You'll always have my unspoken passion. I might not even seem to care. I don't want clever conversation. I never want to work that hard. I just want someone that I can talk to. I want you just the way you are. Need to know that you will always be the same old someone that I knew. I said I love you, and that's forever. And this I promise from the heart. Ooh, I could not love you, not any better. I love you just the way you are. No, I don't ever want clever conversation. I just don't ever want to work that hard. I just want someone that I can talk to. I want you just the way you are. I just want someone that I can talk to. I want you just the way you are. Just the way you are.
I grab anything I can get.
Yeah.
You make that all too easy. You make it look so easy out there when you sing.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's because of a couple of reasons. I've never felt as well as I feel now.
I know, we talked about that when we were out.
And when you're working with an orchestra like Doc has, and you got guys to back you up,
like George Rhodes, who's been with me for
Right.
24 years now almost. And he does all of the arrangements.
Right.
And you feel comfortable and you feel good. And
Yeah,
you
but you-
only have the best audience in the world. That reception.
Can you imagine, darling? I want to be a singer so bad. You know,
Well, I get
why
the
is that?
impression that's the way it is.
No, why is it everybody wants to do something other than what they really do?
I don't know.
Great dramatic actors want to do light comedy. People who are dancers sometimes want to do serious roles.
Yes.
I guess because crooners or singers, there's such an emotional thing involved. You can really work an audience, and you go out and you got all that great material to pull from over the years.
Well, to me, you know, it's like when we did the award show together,
Right.
which incidentally I never got a chance to tell you because it was so hectic afterwards. That was one of the most thrilling experiences I've ever had in my 49 years being on that show.
On the Academy Awards?
On the Academy Awards, and that the thing that we did, Steve and I did.
Yeah, that was a great number.
To be a part, but to be just a part of it.
Right.
Because that was a kind of a lot of special moments happened on that show, and you were, and I'm not doing noblesse, noblige, you were marvelous.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Two people are out swatting flies. I take a bow. You never know. We'll do this. We'll be right back in a second. 2 seconds. Oh, me. I didn't see this little new additional bobble you have there.
Yes. Well, you know, it's getting so now that, thanks to guys like yourself, if I don't come out with the rings, I tried it one night in Vegas at the Caesars.
Right.
And I walked out, and the first thing they said after George played the intro, people were yelling at the stage, "Where's the jewelry?"
Yeah.
I quickly had somebody go back and bring it out, and I put it on.
It's become a thing, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
And I don't, you know, it's so funny because I don't wear it in the street. You know, I really don't.
Did you hear? I don't know. You were backstage.
I don't know no street I can go down wearing.
I wouldn't. You can run down streets. That's called running jewelry. You don't skulk around street corners wearing that stuff. Did you hear the joke I did in the Academy Awards about your?
Oh, yeah.
As I introduced David Wolper.
Yeah.
It was a funny line, wasn't
It
it?
was a funny line. I imagined with 50 million people were
I
watching.
said that David Wolper was going to do a new show called Celebrity Roots because he put on the original Roots, and in the first episode, Sammy Davis Jr. traces his roots back to your great-great-great-grandfather, Kunta Davis Sr. And I said, even though Kunta was a slave, he wore fewer chains than Sammy does in his act today. That was the joke. And I can hear you cackling all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Then I heard that silly laugh when you start to go clomping back there.
Oh, well, see, you have a thing. We have a thing together. I don't know if the people are aware of this, but we have a thing together. When I come on this show, first of all, it's a joy. And we are all friends. Everybody here is friends. And I look at him, and somebody will be sitting in this chair, and I'm down there next to Ed, and he'll give me a take. That's all he has to do, and I'm on the floor. I'm the biggest. I'm his.
No, people wait for you to show
I'm
up.
your Jack Benny to your George Burns.
Comedians wait for you to show up in the audience, Sam, because you're a good audience. I like to go and watch comedians work. I'm a good audience. So some comedians aren't, you know. They kind of sit and they're digesting it. They're saying, hey,
Very
that's not-
analytical.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good, but I have a line similar to that. I go and I break up if somebody is really cooking.
Well, I think it's encouraging. Some of the best shows I've ever done has been when people that I've known, but particularly people that I admire are
Right.
in the audience. It just revs you up.
Well, the juice is starting to
Yes,
go.
that's it. You know, you can't just, not that I don't think either one of us walk through anything, but some nights you walk out, and strange that this may seem, ladies and gentlemen, you just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah, and you pump it up a little.
No. But when you know you got Sinatra out there, or Johnny, or any one of a dozen performers I could name.
I'll tell you what petrified me one night. I was working in Miami some years ago, and they came back and they said, George Burns is out with Joe E. Lewis and Jack Benny. Oh, I want me out. And it was awful. I mean, you know, but at the same time I was flattered, but at the same time I was a little scared. And I went out and luckily I had one of those good nights where everything was cooking, you know. But that could put a little panic in you.
I walked out in Vegas one night, And nobody had told me, and we made it a rule from that time on that they would always let me know who's in the audience. I walked out and sitting right ringside was Ben Vereen, who is, you know, the dynamite performer of our time, you know. And I looked down and I said, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen." I went, oh.
Oh, no.
Now, and your back suddenly straightens up, you know.
I got to tell you a funny story. I don't know if I ever talked about this on the air. About 10 or 12 years ago, when I was working in Vegas, you know, sometimes where you think, comedians do this, and usually it's a mistake. They want to step out and do something else, like maybe a little song. Now, this is true. Tony Mottola, great guitarist, was on the Tonight Show band. And I said, you know, it might be a nice change of pace rather than standing up there for an hour doing jokes. It's a little break, I guess, to show your versatility. So Tony set out a chart for... No. Shadow of Your Smile. And there were some beautiful chords and beautiful resolves. And I sat at home and the fingers were bleeding. And I'm going, the shadow of your smile. And I said, that'd be real effective. The audience would say, gee, we didn't know he could sing. Okay. Comes the night that I'm ready to do this. And already I can feel the perspiration running down the arm. Because I know in about 15 minutes, I'm going to say, Louie, can I have the guitar? I'd like to do a little something special. And I look down as I start to go, hit the first chord, and there's Robert Goulet and Vic Damone. And I went, the shot. Well, I want to tell you, I did not do it the second show, and I've never done it since. Absolutely true. One show I played it, and I said, true. I said, it's not worth the mental effort to do that, knowing you're coming to that and not really feeling comfortable with it.
No, that's a...
Have you ever really been petrified? All performers, you get this all the time, I do, so you get nervous. We don't get nervous as much as we get apprehensive or we get charged up a little bit, because all audiences can be different. Have you ever had a show like, whether you're, say, in London or something, where you're really kind of petrified to go out?
I was scared in London. I'm always frightened of London.
Yeah.
It is always tenuous, you know. You never really know what's going to happen. But the first time we went to London, the first show I did in London was the Royal Command Performance. And it was prior to my opening at the Pigalle, which is a nightclub. And I went in, and you know my size. I weigh 112 pounds, you know. And they had a...
Yeah.
That's on a good day.
Yeah.
And they tried to fit me for the big finale. And I told the story in the book. Yes, I can. They tried to fit me with a full dress suit. Now, they got the smallest one on the Isles of Great Britain, right? And it was like hanging down here, the jacket, you know. I think they got a 36 short, and I wear a 34. It's one of those, you know. So they had to, they did this, they hooked it, you know, hooked it up and just pinned it, and they gave me a hat. Now, I have an oblong head, so they gave me a hat that they thought would be really good.
You're talking about top hat now?
Top hat. And the hat came all the way down to here. So the guy says, not to worry, not to worry. He says, don't worry about it, Sam. We'll fix it. They put paper inside the band of the hat. So at least it did sit up there. I could put both hands underneath it, but at least it sat. We're doing the thing, and it's the final number, you know. And when you walk down Piccadilly, it's so gay, and all the stars are on this ramp. And at the end, we had to take our hat off and bow to the Queen, right? A curtsy to the Queen. I took my hat off, paper flew in the audience. The sleeves came down. And I stood there looking like nobody sent me to camp.
He don't desert me.
True story. I know why.
That's wonderful. Those are great stories. Who was it? Was it the late Ted Lewis who took at the end of the show, and he was a very vain, and he wore a very fine hairpiece.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, he bows, and the hairpiece is lying on top of the hat. You know, there's no way you can cover an air like that. I mean, that's tough. We'll do this. We'll return in a moment. We're back. We're talking with Sammy Davis, Susan Sarandon, and Betty White with us tonight. Yeah.
Can I do another number?
Of course. Come on.
Because I got a surprise for you.
Another surprise?
Yes.
You always come with a surprise.
I try to do
Okay.
one. I didn't know what he's going to do. Look out. Honk, 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 honk. On a warm summer evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns staring out the window at the darkness. The boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces, knowing what their cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces, and for a taste of your witness, I'll give you some advice. So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. He said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You gotta know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Now every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser. The best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. When he finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. But somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. But in his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. You gotta know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You gotta know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. And you never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You gotta know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run, and never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Thank you, Kenny Rogers.
New for you. You're heading right for Nashville after this, huh?
I'm telling
Now,
you.
that's a departure for you.
Yes, and I'll tell you the reason why. First of all, Kenny and I have been friends for a good many years, and I couldn't be happier about the success, and I buy his records, as I do all the artists.
Right.
And asked him if I could do the song. He said, why you asking me? He said, if you do it, I'd be pleased. And I did it one night up at Lake Tahoe at Harrah's, and Willie Nelson was in the audience.
I like that voice. Boy, is that a great quality?
And he is producing an album for me.
For a country, just country western?
Country and western. I'm just warning you, Charlie Pride, watch yourself.
Oh, yeah. Country music. Well, why not? How about a disco? You don't have a disco thing out, do you?
Oh, we've got one coming out.
Yeah?
I've redone, as a few people have done, a few of their old hits done in
And
disco.
put in the disco beat?
So I've done Hey There and Old Black Magic
In the disco?
in disco. And it's really cooking.
That should really...
It really is cooking because Mike Curb, who is
Right.
Lieutenant Governor, right? He produced Candyman for me and all my records. And he said, I'll take a day off. He says, and come down and sit in that booth and make sure everything is right for us. I feel very good about it.
What would it... I'm trying to think about what the beat... Could you do... Doc, can you do a Black Magic as a disco beat? How it would sound? Ad-lib?
Could we do it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would it sound like in a disco beat? Just
I just want
what
to hear.
tempo? I just was kind of interested.
So well, I see fingers up and down my spine. Same old witchcraft when your eye meets mine. Same old tingle that something like that.
Okay, that's great. We'll do this. We'll be right back with Susan Sarandon.